All right, everybody. We're officially on Texans Titans Hangout. Sorry it's not a live Hangout because I have a strike on my channel and I'm waiting for it to come off. But I have a former YouTuber. I guess he deleted his channel recently. Kev's Point of View. What's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing, man?
So, man, what is your favorite matchup going into this week? I mean, I know it's Titans and Texans, but is there any specific matchup you're looking forward to seeing on the field?
I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what's going to happen in the NFC East with the Cowboys and Eagles. Like,
yeah,
who's going to win that division? Because both, to be honest with you, neither one of them deserves to be in the playoffs.
Nah.
And honestly, that's how I feel about it. I wish the NFL would change something where even if you win your division, you don't go. I mean,
yeah, because like the way if you look at the standings, I'm looking at it right now, and let me pull it up. On the NFC side, you got the Vikings at the last spot here, and then the Rams are at 8-5. So that means that if the Rams and the Vikings hypothetically went out, one is going to go 11-5 and not get in. And that happened when the Seahawks went 7-9. And then remember, the Patriots went like 11-5 and didn't make it that year. But I mean, I know it's two different conferences, but you're going to see some parity levels where you'll see 8-8 teams winning their division. I know this doesn't happen often, but I still think if you're playing 16 games, if you win 11 or 10, and you have the best 6 records, you should get in.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, and if you look at the standings, and I know me and you are AFC guys.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you right now, the NFC is looking stronger. And, you have the Niners, you have the Saints, you have the Packers playing good, Vikings are playing good, the Rams are still in there, the Seahawks are still swimming around. So, to be honest with you, the NFC just seems to be more powerful right now than the AFC does.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But then again, though, I don't think there's anything right now. Though I don't think there's a hotter team in the NFL than the Ravens.
Yeah, I know. I think hands down, if you were to tell me who's going to win the whole thing, I think most people would say the Ravens right now are in best position to win it all.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm going to give you an example. Like for me, I think going into this Texans-Titans game, you got the Tennessee Titans who have won the last 4 games. You've got Ryan Tannehill who's 6-1 as a starter, I believe, right?
Yeah.
He has 114 quarterback passing rating. He's got over 1,600 reception yards, or passing yards, I meant. He's got 12 touchdowns, I think 3 interceptions, or somewhere along that line.
15 touchdowns, 5 interceptions.
Okay. That's still not bad. And for, like I said, he's going on pace for a 2,000. This is a guy who tore his ACL, came back, and you thought that his career was over. Many people said you're starting him over Mariota. I know Mariota's bad, but I think he's better than Tannehill. And nobody in this position right now would be saying at the beginning of the year Tannehill's going to come in and be 6-1 right now.
Well, when you look at Tannehill, you see where Tannehill came from, being a first-round pick and being in Miami. People look at Tannehill and they're like, wow, this guy is not a proven quarterback.
Yeah.
But you got to understand with Miami, he's playing with a better supporting cast. Not only does he have a great running game, which I think Derrick Henry is very underrated in the NFL.
Of course, yeah. I agree.
He should be higher than what he's at.
I agree.
And then you got an offensive line that's, sometimes they're on peak, they're on point, and then other times they do give up a lot of sacks. But I think this is the best team Tannehill's ever played on.
Yeah.
So with Derrick Henry playing so well, it's opened up Ryan Tannehill to be the guy that he was supposed to be in the first place. So, I mean, as far as Mariota goes, and I will say this, I was a big fan of his when he came out.
So am I.
I still support him.
Yeah.
I think the problem is that when you have too many different head coaches, too many offensive coordinators, your offensive line's not protecting you a lot. You're taking a lot of hits. You're taking a lot of things. I think Mariota lost his confidence.
Not only that, but I think he's a lot smaller than Tannehill, too.
He's a lot smaller than Tannehill, and I also think that if you put Mariota in a balanced offense or maybe like a spread offense that he ran in Oregon, and you put him with a different team, I'm going to go ahead and clarify. If he went somewhere like Chicago, or if he went somewhere to where he can learn behind somebody like an Aaron Rodgers or someone he can learn behind. Just think of how Mariota would be if he can just play on a different team that can balance his skill set.
So you think, as far as Tennessee is concerned, his career is done there?
Oh yeah. I don't think they're going to re-sign him after this year. I think he's done.
Okay, so his rookie contract's up after this. It's unfortunate because I'd hate to see a guy like that who had so much potential, but he played for the team 5 years. I think it'll be a 6th year this year. I think it's about time to move on from him. And as much as I would have never thought 31-year-old Tannehill would be in this position right now.
I know some people probably expect me to say some bad stuff about the Texans, but I'll say this much: I'm a Deshaun Watson fan.
Yeah,
I like the Deshaun Watson, and I liked him even when he played for Clemson and they beat Alabama in the national championship.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a proven guy, and you guys do have DeAndre Hopkins and Fuller. The receiving core is fine. I just think it's the offensive line and it's the coaching that's killing Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, I don't think Fuller's going to be playing, so that guy's going to help you out a lot because he's got a hamstring, reactivated hamstring, so he's not going to be playing. But like I said, we'll still have Kenny Stills and Stephen Mitchell Jr. and DeAndre Carter. But honestly, I think the Titans, the way they're playing right now, you guys winning your last 4 games, and I mean, you guys look good out there. And then Derrick Henry's putting up fantasy numbers. A.J. Brown's putting up fantasy numbers. Ryan Tannehill's doing the same thing. Are we going to see any more offensive output besides just A.J. Brown, like Tajay Sharp? Are we going to see any more from him?
Well, it all depends on if Adam Humphries is playing. I mean, sometimes they go to him. Sometimes they go to Jonas Smith.
Yeah.
The tight end. Corey Davis, I don't know if him and Tannehill are clicking with each other because you can tell that he does throw to Corey, but right now A.J. Brown and Tannehill are like this little, they got something going.
Yeah.
And it's just clicking. Right now, as far as injuries goes, Derrick Henry is dealing with a hamstring injury. He had a little bit for the last 2 weeks. If you saw during the Raiders game, he didn't really play the second half.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
And they kind of rested him a little bit. Derrick Henry said no matter what, he's still playing. But to be honest with you, you guys have an easier schedule than we do these last 3 games. Because not only do we face you guys here, then we got New Orleans coming.
Yeah, New Orleans, and we go at Bucks. But even the Bucks isn't easy because look at the way they're playing now. They'll probably be 7-7 when we face them. And then we got to go to their house.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, there's a lot of trap games, especially when we get toward the end of the season like this. And there's a lot of teams with nothing left to lose. And that's when it becomes a little bit tougher. But, I mean, for this game in particular, I think that what it marches down to is you guys are definitely missing J.J. Watt.
Okay, yeah. Oh, obviously, yeah. First and foremost.
He brings the energy to that defense. I mean, he's the guy. I mean, I think you guys losing Clowney was also tough too because you have a Clowney gone, and that kind of that kind of ends up here. But to be honest with you, though, I think it might come down. I think it might come down to week 17. I think we might have the same record by week 17.
Yeah, here's the crazy part: is the Titans and the Texans, the winner of this game, not only takes the division solely, has a sole lead on the division, but the loser is going to be out of the playoffs, like 7th seed.
Exactly, too. Or you just have to pray that Pittsburgh loses, or
Oh yeah, which is still possible. Pittsburgh don't have an easy schedule either.
No, Pittsburgh doesn't because they got Buffalo this week,
and Cleveland's still on their schedule too. Mm-hmm. Even the Bills don't have an easy schedule either. They got the Patriots, then I think they play the Jets afterwards. So I think after week 15, things are going to really start getting interesting in the league. But honestly, I would love to see the Texans and the Titans both in. But the way I see the way the things are rolling out, I think maybe only one of us is getting in.
The way it seems right now, one of us is getting in. I mean, I would like for both of us to get in.
Yeah.
To represent the South because, for the longest time, everybody's called the AFC South the laughing stock and stuff like that. And now we're actually showing that the AFC South, I mean, And like credit to the Colts. So the Colts played a really good season without Andrew Luck.
And then they kind of fell off towards the end, yeah.
They kind of crawled off toward the end, but the Colts do got something going there too. And Brissett's not that bad of a quarterback for them.
Yeah.
And you have to keep them in that situation. Now Jacksonville, on the other hand, just I don't know what happened to them. I mean, the fact that they just kind of fallen off.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what.
Yeah, they have fallen off, man. It's like whenever they put Nick Foles in, he just stunk up the joint, and then they try to put Gardner Minshew back in, and then it just did not work out. I mean, they're on pace to, they're probably going to go 4-12, you know?
I think the problem here in Nashville, and this is the problem with Titan fans, the ones I've talked to around town in sports bars, they're scared because we know that we're a playoff caliber team, and we have been the last couple of seasons. The problem is that we tend to find some way to fuck it up.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. When we look at our schedule, we go, wow, the Titans should have won this game. They should have won. We always play those games where we should have won. Like we should have beaten Jacksonville earlier in the year. We should have beaten Buffalo at home when we didn't miss like 5 or 6 field goals. There's games like that kills us.
And then there's games that y'all won this year that y'all probably shouldn't have, like the one against the Chiefs. The Chiefs blew the 9-point lead. And then they did not expect you guys to beat the Browns opening week.
No, they didn't.
So I guess it kind of evens out.
It evens out. And we've had that problem all like the last couple of years. So,
yeah, your consistency. The problem is the Titans will win a really big game. They'll have they'll be like 7-6, and all they need to do is win one more to go 8-6 and secure a decent lead over the other teams in the South who are hanging at 500. But then they'll lose the following week to a team that had a worse record. So I've seen that happen too.
And it's weird because when the Titans face a team that's a playoff team, we come to play.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then when we face like let's say for example we have Miami on the schedule, I would be scared because I would think some way we could fuck it up.
Yeah, y'all play down to their competition.
Yeah, then we would just.
You play down to your competition. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so right now though, the Titans are a top 10 defense. They're, they got one of the best running backs in the league.
Yeah.
And the one thing I love about Mike Vrabel, and I know Vrabel, a lot of people were kind of skeptical of him because of his aggressive play calling. I like it. I really like it because I look at a guy who's won 3 Super Bowls for New England.
Yeah.
He's played under Belichick.
Yeah.
He's coached under Bill O'Brien. He's coached under Urban Meyer in Ohio State.
Oh, wow, okay.
So he has that mentality of he rallies his team. Like, you know, if you go on Tennessee Titans YouTube channel, you can see some of those victory speeches he has at the end. It's just the players believe in him.
Yeah, and that's what's the most important because all the head coaches you had before that they didn't really connect well, especially Mike Mularkey and the other ones y'all had before that. So my favorite matchup going into this game in terms of player on player, I want to see how D-Hop goes against. I don't know if you're either going to do Logan Ryan or are you going to do DeJory Jackson.
Adoree Jackson.
Adoree Jackson.
I know he's still kind of on the injury list. I don't know what his status is. I think it's questionable.
Yeah.
Right now. Logan Ryan right now has been, ever since he came back from that knee injury last year, he's...
hadn't been the same?
No. He stepped it up.
So who do you think you're going to put on D-Hop? Is it going to be him?
I think you would put Logan Ryan. I think that might switch him up a little bit. And then, you know, you got Kevin Byard as a free safety who's lurking around that area. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you know that if Kevin Byard needs to come and help, obviously they will find a way to do that. But I would not double team D-Hop because that's the mistake that most teams have against the Texans. When they see D-Hop, they want to try to double team him. And I'm sitting there thinking, you're double teaming him, you're leaving Stills right there, you're leaving Fuller open. And you're basically giving the Texans that window. And to be honest with you, though, the one thing I love about our first-round pick, Jeffrey Simmons, I didn't think he was going to play this season.
Oh, Jeffrey Simmons is beasting right now.
I know. I mean, like, you know, he didn't, like, you know, I think he tore his ACL and all that, and we didn't know if he was going to play. But when you put him and Casey together, creating the havoc when they create havoc in that front, it's given people like Harold Landry that chance to come around that corner and do what they got to do. I mean, to be honest with you, though, the Titans got a really good linebacking. I mean, they got a really good young linebacker core with Javon Brown and Rashawn Evans.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, "Oh, why did they pick him up?" Let me tell you something. being a SEC fan and being a Tennessee Vols fan, I've seen Evans play for Alabama. I knew the kind of guy we were getting out of that in the first place. But the big question in this game is that if you want to beat Tennessee, you gotta smack that offensive line in the mouth.
Yeah.
You gotta put pressure on Tannehill. You gotta put Tannehill on his ass.
Not only that, but yeah, we got to shut your run game down because obviously you guys got two guys that are capable of rushing for 100 yards, and that's what Derrick Henry and who was the other one y'all had?
Deion Lewis.
Yeah, Deion Lewis. So that came from New England. So you guys got two 100-yard rushers. So that's obviously going to be an issue. And also, I know Ryan Tannehill, when he has a 3-step drop back and he's sitting back in the pocket for 5-6 seconds at a time, he finds A.J. Brown. That makes me a little bit nervous.
And that's the thing, too, is if you want to make sure Tannehill, in the game where we lost with Tannehill, the thing is you have to kind of put pressure on him. And you know what's funny is the fact that we should have beaten Denver in Denver. And
we lost to them, too.
Denver last year. You guys should have beaten Denver last week.
Yeah, we lost to them, too.
So, to be honest with you, Denver's been a thorn on both our sides this year.
Didn't they beat Jacksonville, too?
Yeah.
Didn't they beat the Colts or they lost the Colts?
They lost to the Colts.
Oh, okay, so they beat 3 out of 4. Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, I look at the Titans and I look at it like, Delaney Walker, I know he had that injury last year and he came back and he only played a couple of games. Some people are wondering why he hasn't been playing.
Yeah.
Delaney Walker, I think he still has a problem with his ankle, but I think it's more deeper than that. What they don't tell you is Delaney Walker wasn't happy that they benched Mariota. And he's not getting along with the coaching staff. So what they don't tell you about that is they're kind of punishing Delaney Walker by not playing him.
I kind of have a feeling that's what it looks like. They're actually on the way to sending him out the door. I'm not trying to be mean. I like Delaney Walker, but it seems like the last couple of years his numbers gone down, and there's got to be something. Obviously, you're saying there's some sort of intensity brewing there. I think they may just let him go and keep that tight end y'all got.
Well, the tight end we got, I wasn't a fan of his at first because his first couple of years I thought he was inconsistent. Mm-hmm. When I don't know what it is, but this offense, he's clicking. Now, to be honest with you, in the beginning of the year, I was gun-ho about Arthur Smith as our offensive coordinator. I'm like, okay, I know he's been a tight end coach, but is he really going to be able to do this offense? And now we're starting to see that Vrabel made the right choice as far as making the moves like that. Now, I think with the Texans, the problem is with the Texans is that I know this is probably going to be hard for me to say. I don't know if Steven's going to agree with me here. I think you guys need to do away with Bill O'Brien.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say it's coaching. He does make questionable play calls, like when going for it on 4th and 1 last week, and we were down on our own 34, and I was like, it wasn't even a short distance either. Like, it wasn't inches. It was actually like a long 1 yard. It was like almost a yard and a half. And it was like, he was like, well, let's go for it. I'm like, what? Because it's like 24-3 with like 3 minutes and change. Yep. I'm like, why don't you just punt the ball? And I think, like he said in the press conference, like, well, defense didn't make any stops. I'm like, I know, but even if that's the case, I'll let them drive the 90 yards and make them work for it. If they're going to score, make them work for it. Yep. Like, why are you just going to give them? I mean, I know what you have. He has a mindset. I'm going to make the first down. I get. He's thinking he's thinking in present tense. I get his argument. He's saying, I'm going for it because I'll take the risk we might make it. Yep. So I get what he's saying, but the play before that on 3rd and 1, he throws a fade route, 1 yard pass to Darren Fells, and when Darren Fells caught it, Kareem Jackson came and tackled him, so he only got a couple of inches, and that was already on 3rd and 1. So I didn't like that play right there. Was kind of like a sign. Like I was like, I don't know. I think let's just punt it, man. It's just kind of early. Like let's just punt it. I know we're down 24-3, and you're impatient. You want to juvenate the offense up, but he should have just punted it right there. And when he went for it, they scored like 6 plays later. So when you fast forward at the end of the game, when we recovered the onside kick down 2 scores, Instead of it 38-24, it would have been 31-24, and we would have had the ball with 25 seconds, and then Deshaun wouldn't have been forced to throw the ball downfield. They scored a quick touchdown, thus throwing the interception. He would have had 25 seconds left, and we would have been down on their 45. So you could have worked the field. We could have went to overtime. So basically that 4th and 1, if you go back and rewind it, that 7 points costed us a possible tie to go in overtime.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we should have punted the ball. Like, and I'm saying, like, why are you going for it? And, like, he went for it. And then he burns timeouts, too, in the second half. Like, he called a timeout on a 2-point conversion. Like, we went for it on 2, and Deshaun Watson's, like, relaying the play to D-Hop and Kenny Stills, and they're about to set up, and Bill calls it because he said, I want to make sure you're all on the same page. I'm like, what? Like, you just blew a timeout. Like, what?
You know what's weird, though, is the Texans had a little bit of inconsistency this year, too, because you guys face a team like Denver that you should have won. And
Trap game.
And then you guys beat New England.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we beat New England a week before that, so I figure, okay, this 3-game homestand, we're going to go 3-0.
You know, I don't know how Steven is with the AFC South, but I'm actually a little different. Like, if the Titans didn't make it, I mean, I know some Texan fans will be like, oh, the Titans make it, you know what, fuck them, I hope they lose in the playoffs. I'm one of those people where I represent the AFC South, so if the Titans lose, the Texans got my blessing.
Well, if the Texans win that division, man, how far, let's say you host a home game in the wild card, because that's what it looks like it's going to be either way. Unless some miracle New England loses out, but even then I still think Kansas City finds their way in there somehow, some way.
Yeah.
If the Titans, let's say the Titans host a home game, the number 4 seed, how far do you see yourself going?
I think right now, if we're playing on all cylinders and we're red hot, I would not, I'll be honest with you, if I was any team in the league, I would not want to face the Titans in the playoffs.
So you think the Titans could win in Baltimore or could win in New England or Kansas City? Because I know y'all beat the Chiefs already, but I'm just saying.
I think we would have an easier time beating the Chiefs and the Patriots right now than with the Ravens. The Ravens right now, how do you beat Lamar Jackson right now?
Yeah.
I mean, the guy is like killing it. And right now, I don't think there's any team in the AFC that can beat Baltimore right now.
Yeah, I know. I think, but could you see the Titans going in New England and winning, or going in Kansas City and winning? I mean, y'all have done it before in Kansas City in the playoffs, but do you see that happening again, or do y'all see yourselves winning in New England? Because that's going to be a tough environment.
Well, the tough environment with New England, yeah, but I think what the problem with New England is that, and I hate to say this, but Brady is starting to show his age.
Oh, his age is showing. I've been telling it. I said he looks like the oldest 42-year-old, because I've seen guys like Jake Delhomme at 45 that didn't play that bad.
Yeah, like, you remember Benny Testaverde played till, what, 46?
Yeah, and Jake Delhomme was 45 starting for the Browns, and he threw like 5 touchdowns in opening day. So Brady looks like shit.
And it's also, too, you have to look at it from this point. He has no Gronkowski.
Yep. No Josh Gordon. He has no Antonio Brown.
Yeah. And you start to see right now, teams are like, oh, you guys Julie Edelman. So we're going to
double him.
So we're going to double him, and you're not going to throw it to anybody else. And plus, I think what it is, honestly, I think there's been problems with Belichick and Brady for a while. Honestly.
Do you think there's two egos? Like, it's sort of like Jordan and Jerry Cross or whatever they say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, especially when Brady's personal trainer got kicked out of, couldn't come to their facility.
Oh, wow.
With him, that really struck a nerve with Brady, and you can tell.
So do you see that relationship ending? Do you see Brady possibly being in with another uniform with another team?
I think the competitor in him wants to do it because we all know he's from San Francisco. He was from San Francisco. He was a 49er fan growing up, and Joe Montana was his favorite quarterback. And we know when Montana left the 49ers, he led the Chiefs to the playoffs. So we could see something like that. I just don't. Honestly, I think if he's leaving New England, he's done. That's just me personally.
I think if he leaves, he could go somewhere for 2 years, but I don't see him going to Denver. I could see him possibly going to like one of them underperforming teams like the Chargers or something and trying to spark some magic. But what type of Brady will you see, though? Will you see the same one you're seeing this year? Because if that's the case,
honestly think, it's fun. It's funny because most of the Titan fans and Titan radio here in Nashville, they're all like, "Hey, Brady and Vrabel are friends. They were former teammates."
Ooh.
There's that New England connection here in Tennessee.
Okay.
I look at it like this, and I'm looking at it from this point. I know they're probably going to re-sign Tannehill, and Tannehill right now is on a hot streak, but we know how Tannehill is. Eventually, Tannehill is going to be Ryan Tannehill.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen eventually. I mean,
so you think his luck's going to run out sooner or later?
His luck's going to run out.
But you're just hoping it won't be anytime soon.
Right. Yes. Not this Sunday, not week
Fair
16,
enough.
not week 17. Yeah, afterwards, fine. But I think if you put Brady in a Titan team where he has Derrick Henry and he has this receiving core with this offensive line, with this defense, if I was anybody in the AFC South, I'd be worried.
Tennessee's one of the scariest teams right now in the league. Actually, in the power rankings, I got them in the top 5, believe it or not, in my power rankings.
And you know what's weird though is that the Titans are finally starting to get that recognition because I hear guys on there go like, there was a guy on NFL Network beginning of the season, he put us as 3-13 this year, 3-13.
Well, if you didn't know what was going to happen now, I'd say maybe 8-8, 7-9.
Yeah, 7-9, 8-8. I was thinking that maybe if they would have stayed with Mariota, I thought maybe 6-10, 7-9, possibly 8-8. But
all right, so hey, Kev,
I knew we weren't going to go no 3-13.
So hey, Kev, we're gonna go. We're in the last 3 minutes. I mean, we actually got 3 minutes and 30 seconds left. Let's go ahead and go to the game, and then we'll close it out. Well, I mean, we still have enough time. 3 minutes 30 seconds, long talk. What do you see happening in this game? Like, what are your predictions for this game? Like, score prediction. What do you think's going to happen? Who comes out the victor and why?
If I'm the Texans, you don't want to have a shootout with them right now.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to do a shootout with the Titans because the Raiders tried that last week and they found out the hard way. The Titans, in the first half, the Titans have actually been one of the best they've been one of the best third down teams in the league right now.
Okay.
So if you're going to beat the Titans, you got to get them 3 and out. You got to get them off the field, like as much as you can. I think if you're the Texans, you want to score early and often.
Yeah. If you want to beat the Texans, just to be fair, obviously you got to crowd Deshaun Watson. That's the first thing. If you got a quarterback man spy, prevent him from running the ball. Double D-hop, obviously that's because Will Fuller will not be playing in this game. Well, the run game also is going to be effective too because we can run the ball with a combination of Carlos Hyde and Duke Johnson, so that's going to be one. But I'm also wondering if the Texans can develop some sort of pass rush on the Titans. So I guess my matchup is whoever's guarding D-Hop, and I want to see the battle in the trenches, how both of our O-lines are going to hold up against our defense, because I think that's going to be a very key essential component in this game, because I don't see it being a high-scoring game. I see this game, and I just didn't make a hate week video. I said Titans would win 27-20. That was my prediction for the game.
I don't think this is going to be a high-scoring one because this one's going to be more we know each other, we play each other twice a year.
Yeah.
And, I think that what I'm scared of right now is the Titans are playing on this high momentum. I don't want them to overlook Houston. And that's the one thing I'm afraid of.
But one thing to give you credit for, I think you got us, at this current time, you got us beaten coaching. Because I think y'all are better at making halftime adjustments and all that. And Bill O'Brien and Romeo Crennel failed to do that. A lot of times, Watson has to go and win the game himself. Like, he has to call his own audibles and everything against the coach's will. So I think if y'all got us beat from a mental standpoint or a coaching standpoint, I think that's where y'all have us. But in terms of, like, the offensive output, I think our offense is just a little bit better. But then again, if y'all got us beaten coaching, it's like a game of chess. Who's playing chess, who's playing checkers? So we got 1 minute to go. Real quick, what do you call for this final score to be?
I think about maybe, if not 27-20, I think we win like 31-24.
I'm being realistic. I didn't want to give a hate week this week because I actually wanted to have an actual real football conversation. I think if anything, the Titans are going to play well. The momentum's at their house. I think you guys aren't going to be laying down like y'all did in the past when y'all played us with Zach Meckenberger and Mariota and Ryan Fitzpatrick and all the other guys you had playing against us.
You had to mention Mettenberger.
Okay, this Titans team, I'm about to close out. Got 20 seconds left. This Titans team is comparable to the one that went that year. Y'all won like 6 or 7 in a row, and y'all became the first team in NFL history to have an 8-8 record. But only I think this team is better than that one. Obviously, by record-wise, I think they're better at this point.
If the Titans, I'll tell you this much.